Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been really attracted to someone, maybe even in love with them, but you just knew the relationship wasn't right? No matter how hard you tried, you couldn't get it to a good place. What if I were to tell you that this may be driven more by your insecurity than your genuine love for them? Or what if I were to tell you that the hardest to get people are not always the most valuable? Or that being your best self is actually the best way to find the right person? Today, I want to talk about the difference between healthy and unhealthy attraction and what changes you can make to transform your love life. So first, I want to provide a definition for healthy and unhealthy and how this relates to attraction. Because when I was thinking about these definitions and I was thinking of why is something unhealthy, I was wondering, well, is it unhealthy or is it just a preference? And so I want to provide these definitions because this is what I'll continue to refer back to for the remainder of the video. In general, healthy refers to something that contributes positively to well-being and stability, while unhealthy refers to something that is harmful or detrimental. So if we apply this to relationships and attraction, healthy attraction is based on positive, sustainable factors, whereas unhealthy attraction is driven by superficial or unstable motivations. So if I were to provide some examples here, healthy attraction is being drawn to traits like kindness, intelligence, emotional stability, and shared values. It's about finding someone who aligns with your core values and supports your growth, while unhealthy attraction is being drawn to superficial traits like excitement or reactive factors like playing hard to get. This includes being attracted to someone primarily due to their status, unpredictability, or physical appearance without considering long-term compatibility. And so what does this mean? Right? Healthy attraction leads to meaningful, fulfilling relationships based on mutual respect and growth, while unhealthy attraction often results in emotional turmoil because these traits, they just do not support long-term relationship health. So an example of this that I want to provide is confusing insecurity for love. Sometimes the person that we're with is filling an insecurity of ours, and we mistake this for love. It's actually insecurity disguised as love. An example that I want to provide here is that in my past relationship, when we got into a disagreement, she was quick to get up and walk away and end the relationship. And obviously this is unhealthy, and I think part of this was her own insecurity. But nonetheless, it put me in a panic mode, a state of anxiety, and I genuinely thought the relationship would be over for 24 hours until she picked up the phone, called me, and wanted to work things out. And so I would have this major dip, and then when she would call me and we'd get back together to talk, I would have this major high because now it felt like I was optimistic and things were looking better. And so I often would mistake this giant gap as my love or attraction for her, because when I was around her, that's when I would feel that spike. And so I was misassociating this met need of an insecurity as genuine love and attraction for this person. And I was actually very attracted to this person, but it was unhealthy attraction. And so this leads me into the next part of the video, which is just because something or someone is hard to get does not make it more valuable. And this is something that I actually saw on Chris Williamson's podcast. Maybe I'll put the clip here.
Look at the car he's driving, look at the watch he's wearing, look at the girl he's with. That's unattainable to many people, so it seems like it's valuable. But then you attained it. And then you realized, oh, this isn't valuable. This is just difficult to get. What's valuable is something that fulfills you intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, and lovingly. Most smart people realize that there is value in stepping outside of their comfort, that on the other side of discomfort is something valuable. We're told that worthwhile things are difficult to attain because if they weren't difficult to attain, they wouldn't be worthwhile. This is how non-valuable but difficult things get slipped into our desires without us noticing. But just because it's difficult to attain does not mean that it's valuable.
I really love this clip because when I watched it, it reminded me of my past relationship and past dating experiences. I would often confuse someone's lack of attention for value. If they're not texting me back, it must be because they have something so important, or I must not be that valuable, which means they must be more valuable. Or when I was dating my ex, when we would go through these quick breakups, she would often jump on dating apps and get all this attention, or she would have these guys texting her and sliding in her DMs, and this made me perceive her as higher value, which kept me in the game longer. I thought, well, I can't lose her. She's so valuable. Just look at all the attention she's getting. But it really wasn't the attention she's getting, it was the attention she was seeking. It was more a reflection of her disloyalty to me and really a reflection of her own insecurity and, of course, my own insecurity as well, because I perceived her as higher value and stayed in that. But true love should be based on a person's character and compatibility rather than their ability to create emotional highs and lows. Again, just because someone is hard to get, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily more valuable. And the last thing I want to talk about here, and this is something I actually saw Matthew Hussey post, which is healthy behavior won't repel a healthy person. And the way that I interpreted this, and this is going back to our definitions, if you're acting in a way that is healthy, then you're going to attract those types of people. There's another saying that says, you don't attract who you want, you attract who you are. And I think that also holds true here. An example that I can think of here is that back in my early 20s, I would post a lot of videos of me at these parties in LA, and I would be with these different girls, and I thought it was cool because I was really seeking validation from other people. I thought that, hey, this will actually spike attraction. I thought, well, other girls will see this and think I'm cool, and now they'll want to spend more time with me. But in reality, the people that I ended up impressing were not the people that I really wanted to end up dating. It was really unhealthy behavior that I was using to try to attract a healthy woman, when really that's just not how it works. Another example of this now that I might do is I don't really drink and go out at all. And this might actually repel people away who'd like to do that, but I'm repelling the right type of people away. I'm not necessarily saying that you're unhealthy, but I am starting to attract more like-minded individuals by being more of myself. And I used to think that I had to play this character, and I think all of us often think that we have to kind of live up to this character that we hear is more attractive, that, hey, this girl or guy will find you more attractive if you play this part, if you play hard to get. I mean, how many times is it, oh, they texted me, I could text them back now, but I'm going to give it a little bit of time just because I want to create that tension. I want to make them think that I'm busy and wonder, because it'll, again, increase the attraction, but is it really healthy attraction? And so I just think that this is something to keep in mind, that really acting in accordance to those definitions I provided earlier, is this actually creating healthy or unhealthy attraction? And you can do that with yourself and how you're bringing yourself to the dating world and how you're bringing yourself to your relationships. Are you bringing a healthy version, your best self, or are you bringing an unhealthy version? Are you playing a character that isn't truly you, or maybe has unhealthy traits, and that's going to attract unhealthy behavior? And so to recap here, these are my experiences and my learning lessons, but I think that many of us go through these. And so I would encourage many of you, whether or not you're in a relationship or you're single, to look back on your dating history and see where there may be patterns, where you may actually be attracted to these unhealthy behaviors, and that's keeping you in unhealthy relationships or in an unhealthy cycle of dating. And also look at yourself. What unhealthy patterns are you bringing to your relationships or dating life? Is there something about what you're doing that's attracting the wrong kind of people? Or is there something that you're doing which is pushing away, it's repelling the right type of people? I would really encourage you to look at this, and this has ultimately helped me in my dating life and find someone that I'm much more happier with, and it's a much healthier relationship because I was able to look back at these patterns and break them. So I hope that some of these topics that I discussed today resonated with you. If there's any that you think are important that I missed, please drop them in the comment section below, and let me know if there's any patterns that you've recognized in yourself that maybe others would benefit from hearing about.